I live in Miami where it's extremely common for people to try to start a clothing brand business, and a lot of times these people end up failing completely, or right now they're in the progress of trying to make one, but they're not really making themselves stand out. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the advice that those people gave me. Then I'm going to add a lot of the successful advice that people who have clothing brands right now and are making thousands from it have told me in order to start a successful brand right now this year so that you could take off and change your life. So in this video, we're going to go over all the important details that you need to know to make sure that your clothing brand is successful and to make sure that you don't end up staying behind in the back of the bus. So the first thing that we're going to focus on is, of course, creating a brand name. At the end of the day, the name is literally your brand. You want to make sure that whatever name you're going for is something simplistic and something that people could remember. After being somebody who's grown multiple Instagram pages in the past and grown them to over 100,000 followers on multiple occasions, one thing that I've noticed is that the pages with the most simple names tend to be the ones who have the best progress. Because at the end of the day, whenever somebody's looking for your brand, you want to make sure that they could remember it off of the top of their head. If they have to sit there and hesitate and try to figure out what they were searching for again, they're going to lose interest, and most likely they won't even remember to continue searching. So you want to make sure that if you're going for a brand name, it's something short, simple, easy to remember, and you got to make it appealing to a mass majority of people. A lot of people nowadays would do something like angelic or demonic or just stuff that's, basic, and of course you're going to have young, thriving, and that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, you want to be appealing to the mass majority of people. A lot of people might not be into biblical things, so if you bring up angelic, they might not be interested. A lot of people might not have satanic beliefs, so if you bring up demonic, that's not going to be interesting to them too. So when choosing a name, you want to make sure that whatever name you're choosing is something that anybody around the world could look at and be kind of appealed by. And of course, if you're going to be choosing something, you want to focus on one thing specifically, which brings me to my next point, and that's choosing the type of clothes that you're going to be promoting. A lot of times, if you go on TikTok right now or Facebook, a lot of people are going to be promoting hoodies, but you got to remember, not everybody's going to be wearing hoodies all the time. Some people might want a simple t-shirt, some people might want some baggy cargo pants, some other people might like ripped jeans. It really depends on your style and the target audience that you're going after. If you're going to be making a clothing brand, you want to stick to one thing and make that one thing successful before you end up branching off. You're going to have to find manufacturers for each one of these things, and of course you're going to want to make sure that these manufacturers are providing decent quality for the material that you're going to be using for your product. If you're making a bunch of clothes and none of them have decent quality, guess what? Your brand is not going to go nowhere, because you're just going to end up getting bad reviews and a bunch of returns that are going to keep you stagnant. At the end of the day, I can't really tell you guys exactly which manufacturers to go for, because most of the people that I questioned didn't want to share that because that's their secret formula. If they give that away, then they kind of give off their entire brand, because people could just copy it, and there's no way to stop that. So for the sake of not really destroying their brand, they didn't give me that information. But you could definitely find manufacturers on sites such as Alibaba and AliExpress. But the only thing is that when doing business with manufacturers, one thing that I highly suggest, that a lot of other people have suggested before, is that you want to get a sample of the clothing that you will be using for your brand. You want to make sure that you're not selling people garbage products, because if you sell them garbage, they're going to return it right back to you, and you don't want to be stuck with a bunch of garbage piling up because you can't sell it. A lot of times people will just go ahead and look for the cheapest manufacturer, and by choosing the cheapest manufacturer with the lowest quality, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. Because at the end of the day, if I feel like a t-shirt is trash and I just bought it for like $50 to $100, I'm not going to keep that shirt and I'm not going to keep that hoodie. I'm going to send it right back because I'm going to get something better. So a lot of people will have that mindset, and if you want to be successful, you want to make sure that you're providing quality to your customers. You want them to come back. You don't want them to just buy one hoodie and feel like they're dissatisfied and not come back again. And of course, if you're going to have a clothing brand, you got to go ahead and create your own graphic designs. People go for the most complicated things, but I always like to stay with minimalist and simplistic designs, because at the end of the day, if you look at designer brands, that's the exact same stuff they do. You never see them doing too much, and you never see them adding way too many designs and a whole bunch of different materials all on one piece. If you're focusing on one simple thing and you make sure that you make it look as nice as possible, you'll easily stand out from everybody else. Because right now the trend is just adding a whole bunch of rhinestones everywhere. You're going to be seeing stitches and patches all over the place. It's just going to look messy, and it's something that people can't really use in their day-to-day life. If you're going to focus on a simple design that people could wear all the time, then you best believe that people will buy this thing all the time. And you also want to remember that a lot of times your audience is going to be extremely young. Most of the times their parents might be the ones purchasing a hoodie for them or purchasing a shirt. So if they see that this thing's way too complicated and something that their kid can't wear to school every single day, you just eliminated your entire audience around 15-year-olds and below, because that age category is the one that's going to have parents that constantly want to buy them stuff. So if you're making something that's simple and appealing to everybody else, you best believe that you'll be having the highest profit margins, because you will be selling out extremely fast, and you will be making something that anybody could wear at any given time, which means that you're going to stand out from all the people who put angel wings on the back of their shirts, who put a whole bunch of flashy designs on the front, and who add little diamond stones all over the place, because that's something that you wear for like a one-time picture. So with your graphic designs and with any design that you're adding, I would suggest that you just go on Fiverr and just pay somebody around 25 to 50 bucks to get a decent design for your shirts. And a lot of times these people will have unlimited revision. And in case you guys don't know what Fiverr is. It's pretty much a freelancing website where a whole bunch of people who are extremely skilled and talented post their services up for sale along with the price, and they're willing to go ahead and go back and forth with you until you figure out something that really works. These people are looking to have consistent clientele, so if you find a decent design and you find somebody who's good at making designs, you could just keep partnering up with them and changing up all the designs that you have on your future products, and you really just have a solid foundation. Now, if you do want to take the harder route, you could always go learn how to do graphic designs yourself, or you could go on social media and search for countless hours and try to find people who do this online as well. But you also have to remember that these people will be charging a price, and if you want quality, you got to pay for it. People are always going to be looking for the cheapest designs, but that's exactly what's not going to make you stand out. If you go for that little $5 design that probably took the person 2 minutes to make, that just doesn't look unique at all, you're going to be making clothing items that most people won't really appeal to. After you've got your brand name situated, you've got your graphic designs, and you're fully locked in on the type of clothes that you want to start promoting, you really got to focus on making a website and creating your own domain. Now, in order to create your own website, the main platform that a lot of people use is Shopify, but there are other places that you could choose to make your platform, such as Etsy. But in this case, I would suggest Shopify and just focus on it because it's a platform that's pretty simple to use, and you can find countless tutorials on YouTube right now that tell you guys how you can make your store and open it up to make it successful. Now, before you go on Shopify and just smack up anything, one thing that I do suggest, after being somebody who's been online shopping countless times, you want to make a website that isn't too flashy. Some things I've noticed while doing research is that some colors that are really appealing are like red colors, orange, or just colors that have a warm appearance in general, and those colors tend to be the most appealing to the human eye. So if you make a website themed with a little bit of orange and a little bit of red every now and then without overdoing it, you could expect people to stay on your website for longer. You don't want to add too many designs to your website. A lot of people flood their website with all types of colors and all types of different brandings that it makes it confusing to the human eye. Pretty much people lose interest extremely fast. In order to be successful with anything, you want to focus on one thing, and that's one thing that I'm going to continuously emphasize in this video, because I've noticed that a bunch of stores will have pants for sale, then they'll go on to shirts, then they'll go on to beanies, hoodies, and all those things just have bad designs because they're over here splitting their budget amongst like 5 to 10 different items, and it's just overdoing it. So you don't want to overdo it in that case either, because it's not going to get you nowhere, and all you're doing is messing up your budget, because you don't want to be spending too much money trying to promote a whole bunch of different products when in reality there's only going to be a few of them that really appeal to most people. And in order to get your own website name, like the www. Or the HTTPS link, whatever it is, you can go on GoDaddy in order to find this, and by going on GoDaddy, you're able to search up a domain name that probably isn't taken right now in order to promote your brand name through the exact website link. If you're going to choose a domain name, it's going to cost you a bit of money. A lot of times you might find yourself paying thousands if the domain name is in extremely high demand, but in other cases you might end up paying a few hundred because some domain names might not be as highly anticipated as others. Now, one small tip that I'll throw in there for a lot of you guys to remember is that when making your domain name and having a successful store and finding your manufacturer and graphic designers, one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to is how long the shipping times cost for most of their products. People might have the best product, they might have the best store, the best advertising and all of that, but their manufacturer takes 4 weeks because their products are coming all the way from China. So if you're going to be choosing a manufacturer, one thing that you definitely got to keep in mind for a fact is that your shipping time doesn't take too long, because if you have a short shipping time, you automatically outweigh all your other competitors. A lot of people have 3 weeks for shipping time for a basic hoodie, and most people don't even want to wait that long, and a lot of times their customer service is terrible. So even if you try to contact them to get updates on your hoodie or your products, they don't even get back to you. So if you have short shipping times for all of your products, and on top of that you have a decent customer service rating, which means that you're getting back to them when they shoot you an email or you respond to their DMs on Instagram, then you're easily going to be up there for some of the best performing clothing brands for this year. It's really all the behind the scenes stuff that most people don't pay attention to, and when you really think about it, you're going to realize that that behind the scenes stuff is literally the most important stuff. If you're buying any clothing item, best believe you want it to come ASAP because you're trying to wear it, and if you're having a hard time figuring out when it's coming, best believe you want to be able to message somebody and get a response the same moment so that you don't have no issues at all. Now obviously, once everything is set up, you got to be able to promote your products. A lot of times people are going to be using TikTok, or they might just make a few Instagram ads and call it a day, but that's not going to get you nowhere if you really plan on growing this clothing brand and you're not just doing it for the short run. If you want to have a successful clothing brand and really put yourself out there, one thing that I highly suggest is documenting your entire journey on YouTube or on TikTok. A lot of times people are going to show you the how-to videos on how to get everything started, but they never actually do it on video. Imagine this, you started your clothing brand from complete scratch. A lot of people don't do this on YouTube, and you document your entire journey of contacting and manufacturer, of finding somebody to design your graphic logos, and finding ways to promote your product. You document your entire journey on YouTube and that video starts to gain traction. You can expect a lot of those people to be conversions onto your website so that they could visit your product page and get an idea of the type of stuff they should be doing for the future. Now imagine that you post multiple videos, each video giving a detailed description of the exact process that most people have to go through in order to be successful. Then you're easily going to be one of the best performing clothing brands, because people don't do that. I've seen people who document their Shopify journeys, and that's exactly how their pages end up blowing up, because they get people to go onto those websites and it starts building the momentum for them, and they could then reinvest the profits they made from those sales to promote advertisements on different pages. And then if you go on TikTok and you do the same thing, you're building a completely different audience that's still going to go to the exact same place, which is going to put money in your pocket. And TikTok is still definitely a great way to promote your clothing brand because it's completely free if you just post videos. Now something that most people don't really pay attention to is the quality of their videos. A lot of people will have the exact same videos, walking in a hoodie, taking a few pictures, and they just post it expecting different results when they're copying what the last man did. That's not going to get you nowhere, because at the end of the day, your goal with anything is to be different from your competitors. If you want to be successful, you have to stand out, and if you want to stand out, you have to be different. So if you're out here promoting your clothes, try to do something special, try to make something pop a little bit more. If you've got a nice shirt, go ahead and wear it to the beach and get a nice scenic background so that it's really appealing to your audience. You want to make sure that people are watching your video for the longest amount possible, because obviously the watch time is going to lead to more views, and more views leads to more possible conversions to your website. If you're posting TikToks, you want to make that thing appealing. You don't want to be the same dude who posts a video of somebody stepping out of a car wearing a basic hoodie that has a few rhinestones on it, because that's just going to make you look like the last dude. And at the same time, people probably already saw that product like a million times and they're not going to be interested. They're going to scroll right past and you're not going to get no conversions. So if you want to make something that stands out, go to a scenic area, wear your hoodie around some place that's a bit crowded, and just try to emphasize how it stands out in a crowd. You got to use marketing tactics. If you were the customer, what exactly would make a video stand out to you, and what exactly would make you want that product so badly? Don't waste all of your money on ads. You could easily promote yourself without having to pay for advertisements 24/7, because there are so many different free ways to promote yourself. If you have a clothing brand and you want to promote it on a daily basis, make a basic t-shirt that has a QR code on the back and say "support my business" on the back of it. You walk around with that t-shirt in the mall and people want to support you, all they have to do is pull their phone out and give it a quick scan, and best believe they're going to be a little interested to see what you got to offer if you're literally walking around promoting yourself. There are so many ways to promote a business these days, and if you want to promote your business to the highest extent, you could even make multiple shirts and have your friends wear them around for you. And if they really support you, then you're going to have a lot of different conversions from people all over the place, because you're having customers that are local in your area purchasing from you just from a t-shirt that has a QR code. There are so many different creative ways in order to advertise your brands that it really just depends on how you want to think of everything. There are people that send emails, there are people that send text messages, there's people that focus on just making videos on TikTok, there's people who pay influencers to promote their products. There's a lot of different ways. But if you don't want to spend money, you really got to think outside the box, and that's where YouTube, TikTok, and just wearing basic shirts could even come into play. Now let's go back to a bit of my advice if you want to be successful, because obviously you've been on multiple pages watching videos by now, and you probably have heard the exact same thing quite a few times. So I'm going to tell you something that I feel as though would make your brand stand out. And mind you, I've been pretty decent in making online brands stand out, because I've grown multiple Instagram theme pages to over 100,000 followers on different occasions. I've helped different small creators grow their pages by giving them advice on how to promote all of their products. And I can tell you right now, they've seen a lot of growth within the past few months just by following the advice that I'm going to be giving right now. Now, the first tip that I've been mentioning throughout this entire video is be simplistic. People don't always like the most complicated thing, and people don't always want something that's too flashy. The most subtle colors are normally the most attractive colors. People don't always want to be the brightest person in the room, but they want to be the person that you might glance at and be like, yeah, you know what, he's got that on. You don't always want to be the person who's the flashiest. So try to be simplistic, keep your website looking nice and neat, don't make it too crowded, so just keep everything down to earth. And of course, you got to make sure that your design kind of goes with the colors that you implement within your strategy, because everything has to go hand in hand for it to really be pleasing when you look at it. And don't just focus on using one marketing tactic, because if you focus on one thing only, you're missing out on a whole bunch of potential growth in a whole bunch of different aspects. If you promote yourself in a bunch of different ways without really just staying on one little area, then you could expect your customer reach to be a lot higher. And try to make clothes that people all over the world could use. Not everyone all over the world is going to want to wear a hoodie every single day, and not everybody's going to be interested in over baggy jeans or over baggy cargo pants. So try to make something that could appeal to a mass majority of people so that you could maximize your sales. And try to avoid following all the trends that you see. You can't expect to be better than the next person if you're following in their footsteps. You can't sit in the exact same lane following a car and expect to drive in front of them when you never change changed lanes and made your own route. If you want to be successful, you got to pave your own path and set the new trends. You can't be following everything everybody else does, because if you do, you're just going to be another person who people scroll past on TikTok. Keep in mind that not everything that you do is going to be successful. You might have a great clothing brand, but sometimes your manufacturer is going to mess up and send out defective clothes, which means that your customers are going to either want a refund on top of having to collect this messed up product that you now have to hold on to. So you just want to make sure that your customer service is good, because if people see you as a reliable source, they're always going to come back because they respect you. And if you gain people's respect, then you've gained them as a loyal supporter. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss out on any future uploads. And go ahead and use all of the links that I have down below to get free money, because you could use Rakuten to go ahead and get $30 when you spend $30 on the platform for the first time, and a whole bunch of other links down there that give you free money. So go ahead and check those out, and make sure that you guys stay tuned for the next video. Besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one.
See you, chump.